Hello, hello, hello. So I am excited because I'm going to be doing this new thing, a monthly not rehab, recap video, and inspired from Lucy Moon and Glow Autonmo, where I kind of cover the different things that I've been going through, working on, kind of reflecting on my month and getting ready for the upcoming month. And oh my gosh, I'm a little nervous. I think it's because for these videos, I've given myself the challenge of little to no editing. We'll see how that goes. But this way I can improve just my natural speaking. I can put very uh, small stakes on the amount of like post filming work that I have to do so I can keep up and manage this new project of mine along with all the 5 million other things that I'm doing. And I think that's so key both in business and in my personal life is what's considered the MVP, minimal viable product. Like, what is the point of this? Is it giving the value that I want? And how much is like fluff and extra perfectionistic stuff that I don't need? So I thought this would be lovely. I love watching these kinds of videos. So like pull up with some tea and your own notes, or just put this on the background while you're doing the dishes or what have you. And hopefully it gives you some ideas of what you can do, gives you some time to sit and reflect. Because I think, especially in American culture, we're so go, 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 that we're having to learn the same lessons over and over again because we're not taking time to sit down and really recognize with ourselves, like, oh, okay, when I do this, things do better than when I do this. So all of that to say, I really want this to be a raw, honest, transparent sort of video that hopefully encourages you to do the same, that talks about self-improvement and growth, accountability, slowing down, all that fun stuff. So anyway, enough of the intro. Let's get into it. So with each of these videos, I imagine I'm going to start with the monthly reflection. And this is a thing that I keep track of in my Notion monthly reflection page, but you can do it on paper or whatever software you use. And I really like this because, again, it helps me be mindful of things that I'm grateful for, good things that happen, epiphanies that I have, because habits are strong, and breaking bad habits, you need to be intentional and mindful of like, actually, no, I'm not doing that anymore, and this is why. So I just have good old-fashioned bullet points. And so I do a word of the month each month. So for January, my word was enterprising. I wanted to get off to a strong start this year in 2024, be working, writing, thinking about products and services, learning new skills, experimenting with these different social media platforms and content and all that fun stuff. So I like to do the word and then some ideas of what that could mean or look like. And that's something that I can then come back to throughout the month and be like, okay, am I staying in line with the intention of this word and what I wanted to do this month? And that way it's not a rigid, like I have to do X, Y, and Z, but I have like a vision or an idea of what that's going to look and feel like. Then 3 great things that I made happen this past month. So this is a good little pat on the back moment. Again, I don't think we celebrate our wins enough, especially if they're small wins, but all of that counts. So for example, for me, I have scheduled a massage for myself. Ding, ding, ding. That's awesome. I bought a ticket for a bookbinding class. That should be a lot of fun. I got a new bookshelf, which I then put up and like reorganized my books. And let me tell you, that organization was so life-giving. I got so much energy from it because it really helped reinvigorate the energy in my space and what I was excited to read and what I was wanting to do with what I read. So highly recommend, like, don't wait for spring. If you're feeling called, like stagnant energy in your space, like a little organization or decluttering can do wonders. And then I participated in Juliana Garcia's 5-day challenge, which I love her. I love her vibe, her energy, her philosophy on business and keeping it simple and like being mindful of not just like the strategic marketing aspects, but also like the energetics and taking care of yourself. So highly recommend her. And I've gotten so much like free value from her. It's wild. But anyway, so go me, did the things. And oh, I should mention that the ideas for these prompts came from Brendan Burchard. So as you can see, I kind of Frankenstein together different people's tips and philosophies and tricks, and that's, I think, the best way to do it. Like, copy and pasting other people's formulas is great for like a BuzzFeed video, but in reality, you're your own unique person and your life is going to be different. So finding the elements that work for you and dropping the rest and then figuring out a way to make them all flow is really key. Next, 3 things I learned about myself this past month were too much sugar, even fruit sugar, makes me insanely anxious. I had some fruit smoothies, and I mean, like, these were super healthy. There was no additional sugar other than the fruit, but just bam, like, not just mentally, but like physically, like I was kind of itchy with that nervous energy, and it was just not the vibe. So, you know, obviously there's more to dive into there as far as like time of day versus what I've eaten before that and all that fun stuff. But that's a significant thing that I realized this month that I don't want to forget. Second, I love the feeling I sink into when I'm giving massage. For those who don't know, I'm a licensed massage therapist and I do it on the side for family and friends. You know, I don't have a full-time gig of it. But there's something so powerful. There's like this flow state that happens when I really get into the present moment with the massage and like co-creating the experience with the person I'm massaging. And it's like the layers of like not only like physical flow, but like mental flow and almost like peacefulness. It's almost like meditation where you're thinking, but not at the same wavelength of your normal day to day. And then almost like a spiritual level. It's wild. I love it. And third, I need to stop putting so much power into my external environment and circumstances. I love to read. I very much care about learning new things and being mindful of what I have in my environment, but I sometimes go too far as to be overwhelmed by all the things that I know that are bad for me that I just can't do anything about right now. You know, the chemicals in the different products that I have, EMF, you know, like there's so many things. And you can only do so much. There's always going to be a gap between what you know and what you can do and implement in the given moment. And so really coming to peace with that and realizing I'm not empowering myself. Like, I have so much power. Yes, environment's important, but also I have my own power and I have to acknowledge that. And that might sound so simple and like obvious, but that's the crazy thing about self-improvement is it's rarely this like insane, never thought of before thing. It's like the really small thing that you made a big thing that like you keep tripping on. And what I trip on isn't what you trip on. So there we go. Next, my gratitude list for the past month includes these moments. So again, this really bakes in some of the long-term feelings that you want to have, because gratitude is such like an evolved, elevated emotion. Like, it harnesses so much positive energy. And so cultivating that by just throughout the month, like if something good happens, I like lock it down, is been really key for me. I've done this for about at least on Notion, I think for 2 years, but I think I did it a little bit before that. So maybe 3 years. So some things for me were eating out with a friend. I had a lovely day out by myself a couple weeks ago. Got like a latte at this like cafe I'd never been to. Went to a new library and then visited the chess museum. So super simple, nothing grand or life-changing, but it just was a great moment. And just thinking about that day makes me happy. Dog sitting, getting my 90-minute massage, and then there's this cool new thing I found called Letters from Love by Elizabeth Gilbert, lady of Eat, Pray, Love, on Substack. And for free, you can get access to what she calls Letters from Love, which is kind of just like this really, these letters you write yourself from the perspective of loving energy. So whatever you envision, God or the universe or your best self or the most loving person you know in your life, whatever, what would they say to you today? And that's a really lovely practice. And even if you don't get around to doing it yourself, like hearing her once a week read out her letter of love to herself is just very heart-centered, and I think is a good way to ground yourself each week. Okay, 2 more to go. Stick with me, stick with me. So someone I really connected to this past month, and this is where I go a little bit more in detail with the memory. So, because again, in those dark moments, in those moments when you're not in the best mood, it can be hard to remember the good times. So I get really detailed, and you don't need to know those. But just to summarize it for you so you can get an idea, I had this awesome 4-hour phone call with a friend, and it was so life-giving. I don't hear from them a whole lot. I maybe, now that they've moved out of state, maybe 3-4 times a year, but it was such the vibe. We're like, I just loved it. I watched a movie at my place with a friend, and we were just cackling and having a great time, and that was just awesome. And then the third, which is a connection I think that we don't talk about enough, which is like the hard, vulnerable conversations and being grateful for that, and realizing that's a connection. It's not when you realize that friction is an opportunity for growth and to share a deeper part of yourself and then try to get to know the other person better, it turns into a really beautiful moment no matter what happens afterwards. But it happened. It resolved, thankfully, very well. But yeah, emotionally vulnerable conversation with a friend. So there we go. And then biggest decision I made this past month that I need to stick to is, I had originally been planning to go to Japan this year. For reasons I'm not going to get into, I don't think that's in the cards anymore. I think I'm going to plan 1 or 2 other smaller trips this year to make up for that. But yeah, that was a hard, long, tenuous thing this month, was kind of grieving the Japan trip and my expectations and my hopes and my fears about postponing that trip and yada yada. So yeah, and then the other thing is I've made some booktube friends. If you don't know, I also have a book YouTube channel, and if possible, I'd love to visit them this year. So again, you know, you have that bittersweet moment. It's like, oh, Japan's not happening this year, but that might open up the space to have this other trip. So we'll see if that happens. But again, like trying to look at the full picture. Next, I'll talk a little bit about deciding my word for the upcoming month. Because again, I think this is a beautiful moment at the end of the month and right before the next month to take a look at what already been scheduled and planned, how you're feeling, how things are. All right, battery died, but I hope camera angle is the same. Right, so I was talking about my word for February. So again, it's being mindful of what's going on in your life and looking ahead and seeing what would really help you. It's you know, and it's going to vary from month to month, right? So for February, I got the intuition, the download, that the word of the month for me should be kindness. And that's the other thing I realized, is to not overthink the word of the month. Excuse me. I think I should mention, this is also from Glow Tama, so if you don't know her, check out her stuff. And yeah, I think this is a beautiful practice that's really easy to implement if you're just starting along. And so some ideas I thought of for things that would invoke kindness and the spirit of kindness were sending postcards to friends. I got a couple years back a lovely box of postcards, and I want to use them. And what better way than to, you know, send a little love to the people I care about. Loving texts, just being more mindful of like sending something to people that is without expectation and without pressure of them having to respond, but just being like, yo, thinking of you, or like, hey, I hope you're having a great day. Something simple. Calling parents and grandparents, sharing feelings, because that's kind for myself and for others. Planning a trip for myself. So the trip doesn't have to be this month, because this month is a bit crazy with it being my birthday month, but starting to get the ball rolling on that. And then plan a birthday gathering with friends, hold the door open for other people, and give compliments. So nothing crazy. Almost all of these are free or really cheap. But just, yeah, like I really want to kind of invoke that and spark that in myself and others. So that might sound a little cheesy, but that's what I'm going for. That's what I'm doing. So yeah, get your brain percolating on what you want your word of the month to be. And then last, for this first video, this first monthly recap, I thought I would share this other thing that I do, which is a yearly bucket list. But it's not in coordination with the new year, it's in coordination with my age and my year. So 31 things to do before I turn 31, for example. And I love this. I implemented, I think my friends shared this with me 4 or 5 years ago, and it's been so much fun. No, maybe it's 3 years ago, because I started it looks like I have 3 of these. But the thing that I love is that you get to put whatever you want on these. They can be small things, they can be free things, they can be goals, they can be fun little challenges. And so it has a wide range for you. So I thought I'd share what my 31 things to do before I turn 31 are. And the other thing is, it's like, these are just kind of something to keep in the back of your mind. Just a kind little reminder. They're not meant for shame. It's not meant to make you feel bad. And even if you don't reach the full goal, like for example, if you're like, I want to go to 3 museums and you only go to 1, that's maybe 1 more than you would have gone to if you hadn't made that as one of your goals. So yeah, be kind to yourself. And here we go. Number 1, go on a big-ish trip. So I probably should define that a bit more, but especially being freelance, I haven't done the best job about taking time off. And I want to explore. I want to go somewhere new. I want to spend at least several days at that place, potentially out of the country, but we'll see, we'll see. Number 2, read 10 poetry collections. I want to read more poetry, and so I think 10 is a perfectly reasonable amount for me, but it might not be for you. So again, you've got to think numbers, practicality, what's going on in your life. Number 3, finish my gallery wall. My gallery wall right now is 3 pictures, which does not a gallery wall make. But I finally gotten more frames, more pictures. I think I finally got the hooks I need, so I want to finish this bad boy. 4, go to a tea room. I think that'd be fun and cute, you know, like little sandwiches or like pastries, and my friend mentioned, I think last year, that they found one where they give vegan options. So collab or interview someone for my booktube channel. So I think this will be fun and it'll pull me out of my comfort zone. I've been doing the booktube channel for like 2 years now. I have almost 50 videos under my belt, so I think this will help keeping me heading in the right direction. Number 6, camp 3 times. I got, I don't know, 75% of the gear, and I want to do more of it. Nature is such a great thing for me, and I don't get out enough. So putting it on the calendar, gotta do it. Hiking 20 times. Since I moved to this apartment, I have not hiked nearly as much. I think I just need to find my go-to place in this area where I'm like, when in doubt, let's go there. And then I think I'll be square. So 20 times. Also, good for exercise. Hiking doesn't feel like boring in the same way that being on a treadmill does, but it's a good workout. 8, crafty Christmas. I want to make crafty gifts this year. I have friends that are all great at gift giving. They all are brilliantly talented at crafting, and I want to up the ante for myself this year to see if I can do it. 9, photo shoot. I think this will help with my self-image and for my business. So get more professional photos of me and or pictures that will even show to me in a new light. I think that will be interesting. 10, singing lesson. I have problems. I know I have wounds around being seen and being heard, especially because I was made fun of for singing in singing class. So I want to correct that. I want to explore. 11, 10 dates. I don't like dating, but I don't like being alone. So gotta put a number out there, gotta push myself. Number 12, take a massage CEU class or go to a massage conference. So that's continuing education that I have to do for my license, to keep my license. So that's on the agenda. 13, digging for geodes. I found out there's, in northern Missouri, you can apparently dig for your own geodes, and that seems like a fun and quirky thing to do. 14, take 2 small vacations, at least 2 days. No work allowed! Exclamation mark. Probably self-explanatory. Again, getting that work-life balance in. I have found it takes me almost a whole day to get over the mindset of productivity and to like decrease my like buzzing, hustle, anxiousness, and just sink into the experience. So I need at least 2 days on a vacation. And it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be expensive. It can be in state. It can be one of the camping trips, actually. But yeah, those are the ground rules. Start a Roth IRA. I don't want to be homeless at 70. 16, go to a sweat lodge. I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be a nifty experience. Don't know much about it. 17, and again, this is the flexibility of this thing. For 17, I have like 3 different options. I just put slashes. I was like, yeah, one of these. So ice skating / spelunking / fencing. Random and weird, and I love it. Yes, something. One of those 3. I think that'd be out of my comfort zone, something novel, something quirky. Let's go. You know, again, like, this isn't meant to make you feel bad. This is supposed to be fun, so have fun with it. Excuse me. 18, reach 5K months. I really want to work on increasing the amount that I make and diversifying my income this year. And so this was my goal for last year and I didn't succeed. And so I'm hoping sharing it with all y'all will kick me in the butt to do it. Okay. 19, give 3 compliments to people that have work that you like. So authors or what have you. And again, I don't do well with being social, especially online. I don't know why. Like, I'm like 10 times more introverted online than I am in person nowadays. And so I need to just flex that muscle. And it's like, it's a compliment. Like, who doesn't like hearing that someone liked your work? It's not as complicated as I'm making it out to be. So I just need to do it. 20, 3 new restaurants. Simple enough, but just fun. Just getting it out there, experiencing life. Okay, 21, create 3 vlogging videos. I want to experiment with the storytelling of vlogging and the editing and the filmography and the script writing or voiceover, whatever. I want to play around with that. 22, go to 3 events to meet new people. Introvert, tends to stay in my apartment a whole lot. There's not a whole lot of new people in my apartment, which thank God, that'd be a different problem. But anyway, so meet new people. 23, submit haiku at least 3 times. And here's another important thing with these lists. You have to do things that you can control. So you can't say that you want to be published in a certain magazine because you don't have control over that. They're going to say yes or no. It's not up to you. But you can choose how many times you submit. You do have control over that. So submit 3 times. 25, do a Reiki attunement for someone. So I'm a Reiki master, fancy smashy words. So I want to practice some of my skill sets with that. 26, visited my friend who lives in a different state. 27, I want to visit like my college and the old town that I used to live in Indiana. I think that would be an interesting thing to revisit and like just see how much I've grown, see how much everything's changed, and I don't know, have new memories associated with that place. Almost done. 28, write a short story. I am good at starting things and not so great at finishing things, especially when it comes to my creative work. I have a lot of fear and anxiety around it. So hold me accountable, people. I gotta finish something. 29, send 10 postcards. So interwoven with my February word of the month, I want to send postcards. 30, use the 12 by 12 canvas that I have. I tend to get nervous about art, especially art that like I can ruin, which isn't really a thing, but it is in my perfectionist brain. Because like if you don't like something that you've written, you just delete and you're good. But I don't want to continue to see this blank canvas. I want to practice my art. I want to have fun and just experiment and do something wacky and wild and new. And rounding it all off, 31, 3 new recipes. Boom, there we go. 31 things to do before I turn 31. I would love to know if you guys do a yearly bucket list similar to this, or if different, how. Do you do a monthly reflection? Do you have a word of the month? I would just love to share tips and tricks down below. And like I said, I'm wanting to do this as a monthly recap episode video thing. So see you next month. Bye.